in Japan, and this is our first live since returning to the country. We made it successfully. Rudy's nicely acclimated. He's settled into the home life very well. And I am slowly getting ready myself. I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily well settled yet. I'm still making a lot of mistakes. For example, driving is turning out to be a much bigger challenge than the first time that I came back. When I came back in 2003, I just picked up the car. I went out and bought a car and picked up driving like it was nobody's business. I drove a little bit when I came back in 2013, but it was really in the countryside. But I'm making a lot of mistakes this time. And I was telling Yumiko that I'm chalking in my mind times of the day when I shouldn't drive, which is more than half the day. Shouldn't drive at night, shouldn't drive in the early morning or the late afternoon when the sun is low, because it makes it hard to see. So that leaves me like from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. is the driving time. It's so good to be back with my wife. We are having so much fun. And I know that this is the type of thing that is kind of a honeymoon period as we adjust to the new life and especially the freedom that we have. But it feels different in a way because we don't have the mandate or the requirements that we did before of both being parents and work, which has made a lot of difference. We can wake up and basically have our days to ourselves and do what we want. And we're really enjoying that. It's been a nice experience. But probably beginning, maybe in the next couple of weeks, we'll start to dig into a new routine. No, maybe it'll take more than a couple of weeks because we bought a house and we probably won't get the keys to the house until January. And after that, it's going to take time to settle into that place. We won't leave this apartment here until February. So probably we won't find ourselves with a new routine until well into the early spring. But that said, I am getting ready to go out into the mountains again. And to that end, I do put the dog aside. I do have my big backpack here. It's all geared up, and I've been every morning waking up at 4 a.m. and then by 5 a.m. I'm hiking. So I go out for a 2-hour hike. It's a heavy pack. It's a lot of stuff in there. And so I go for a 2-hour hike every day, including some big bladders of water in there. It's got my daughter's good luck charm that she made for me. She's doing that. Oh, hello, little feet. Hello. I've got a little towel here. This is what I'll use for when I go swimming in the rivers or the ocean. I can take that out and have a nice dry. I've got my books, various and sundry other things. But what I want to show you now, here's my bear bell. Remember that? It's shielded right now, so it's not ring-a-dinging. And I've got my water hydration. This is a really nice pack, and I've been wearing it every day. So like I said, for at least 2 hours a day. I've been getting so much exercise since I've come back. At least, Yumiko and I are walking so many kilometers every day. And when I'm out by myself in the morning, I'm stopping and I'm doing push-ups and sit-ups and all kinds of stuff. It's really helping out. But I want to show you the thing I added to the setup today that's going to get me ready to go out into the deep mountains. So here's the pack. This was something that I knew I could get here in Japan, so I waited. And there's a Montbell store in downtown Shizuoka in the Senova shopping center. So I went there today, and it's got this little seal on it. Let's break that seal. And I got two things. I got gas canister. This will go with my coffee setup. Let me go ahead and show you that before I show you the other thing. So here in the pack, I have, well, here's my drawing kit, spare glasses, my little tripod that I'll be using because I don't have a big camera anymore like I did last time I was softypapa. Everything is being done on my new iPhone 16 Pro Max. So what am I filming on? This is my old iPhone 11, so I'm going to be dual phoning it from now on. Get rid of that. There you go. So I want to show you my nice screensaver. Isn't that nice? It's from the softypapa 1.0 days. But hey, some things don't change. So this phone that I'm filming on right now is my backup phone. Think of it like a samurai with their two swords, right? This is my primary sword, my main katana, and this is my backup katana. And so what I for precisely this purpose, so that I can have, for example, be out and about, turn on the live, have the live running, and at the same time be doing stuff. I could literally be sitting here talking at you guys while going through and updating stuff on Gaijin Twitter, on the X platform, or whatever it is. This is a really interesting dynamic, and this is the first time I've actually made use of it in that capacity. But let's continue to show you more of what's in the pack here as I dig down. Well, here's my new softypapa 2.0 hat. My buddy Jim Mully offered to give me a hat that he had, a leather hat, but I told him that, I'm drawing a line in the sand between softypapa 1.0 and 2.0, whereas the softypapa 1.0 guy was the leather hat guy. That's not me anymore. I'm more of a, what is this? This is actually a nice hat. It's a Tilly hat. And it's more versatile, more floppy, just more me. I'm more versatile and floppy now at this point in my life than I was before. Let's see if Rudy will wear this without biting me. Let's see. Let's move it. Rudy, you want to wear my hat? Are you guys in the, Ray asks, are you guys in the new house yet? No, we aren't in the new house. We're just in our apartment right now. We're still a long ways away from getting in the new house. We bought it. We bought a house. For those of you who don't know, Yumiko and I, we haven't finished the purchase process, but we pulled the trigger. We made an offer. The offer was accepted. I don't know if I've told the story of this. It's an interesting story. So after 2 years of searching for a home, not necessarily in earnest because we weren't in Japan, and then once my wife Yumiko got on the ground here, she was searching. It still didn't feel quite right because I wasn't there, right? She would see places, and it's one thing to see it and explain it, but it's another thing to, thank you for the congratulations, little feet. It's another thing to actually see it. We had found a machiya, a Japanese townhouse that we really liked about 5 kilometers away in Shimizu. We really liked it, and we were really close to buying it, but we had a house inspection done on it, and it revealed some earthquake structural issues. Namely, the whole house is leaning 5%. And so to do the retrofit to get it so that it would be a safe place to sleep at night was more than we wanted to invest. So that we realized that whatever house we choose, if we choose to go with an old house, we're going to be faced with the same thing. So I did some research on the Japanese structural code, and I discovered that in the 70s and the 80s, there were 2 big structural modifications, code changes. And that if you could get anything built post-1981, you're going to be in some pretty good shape. I mean, it's not as good as a house built right now, but it's going to have, for example, a solid foundation all along the bottom. It's not going to be sitting on rocks. Martina says, hello from Sweden, Kurt. Congratulations on buying your house. Is the house you showed in one of your recent videos? It is. It is. So there's a recent video. This is the great thing about having 2 phones now, right? I can show you which one it is. It's the video titled, go back, not a short, but a video titled, hold on, old guy needs his glasses. Oh, that's because I'm looking at the shorts. YouTube has a new sorting function, and it's easy to get it wrong. So you want to see 2 videos if you're curious about the house we got. The first is called, this one right here. It's called Akiya House Tour, Our Dream Home in Shimizu, Japan. That's the one that gets the tour of the inside of the house. And then the other one you want to see is this one, exploring the untouched land behind our house. So the thing is that the new house actually, okay, so here's the thing. I'll lead up to it, I'll explain that, but let me explain what happened with how we ended up buying this place. The machiya house, the experience of having it inspected, as much as we loved it, beautiful Japanese townhouse, so much character, we realized that any house of that age is going to be dangerous to live in. And we're not so much concerned about ourselves, but we don't want to live in a dangerous house with our daughter and her family someday coming and spending the night there. I mean, what if the big one comes and the grandkids are with us, right? So if we buy a house like that, we're going to look at a sizable investment just to make it earthquake safe. So Yumiko and I, although we didn't really talk about it this way, both in the back of both of our minds, we were thinking maybe we should angle for something post 1981 with that newer earthquake standard. With that in mind, and only literally, I think I was within 48 hours of my arrival, Yumiko's contact, one of the realtor contacts, messaged her with a message saying, hey, I've got an interesting house in your neighborhood. Now, in your neighborhood is a weighted thing to say. Now, I hope this doesn't sound like boasting, but it's just a fact. The place, your neighborhood, where my wife grew up, where her family lives now, is probably the most desirable neighborhood in all of Shizuoka City. It's kind of like the, what would you call it? Roppongi Hills, maybe, of Shizuoka. And that's for a particular reason. It's far enough, it's between, almost equidistant between Shizuoka City and Shimizu City, along, and it's got 2 train roads that go along and 2 stations right where we are in the place. The prefecture and the city have built infrastructure here, namely a university. Shizuoka Prefectural University is right here. They built the Shizuoka Prefectural Art Museum here. And there's lots of other infrastructure as well. And as a result, this beautiful valley here has, over the decades, become populated by beautiful homes. This is the place where the professionals want to settle down and build their homes. The doctors and the lawyers and all the other things, right? They want to buy a plot of land around the, not just Kusanagi area, but particularly around the Yada area, they want their kids to go to the same elementary school that our daughter went to, which is Togendai Shogako. So as a result, now you're thinking, well, how does it that you guys get to live here? I mean, your family gets to live there. Well, literally, my wife's family, literally, were grandfathered, or maybe you want to say great-great-great-grandfathered in 400 years back to this land. This coincidentally happens to be the land where my wife's family has their ancestral land. Back in the day, they owned, the Inoue family owned lots of land all around here. So as a result, the gentrification of Yada happened around them, and they had their little plots of land. Now, that's good for the people that are the haves. That would be my wife's family that had the land from the beginning. That's tough for the have-nots, like Yumiko and I, who would like to live in Yada, but we don't have that land. We don't have the benefit of owning an acre of farmland in Yada that we can then sell off and then have a portion for ourselves and build a beautiful house. So Yumiko and I had long ago given up the idea that we would ever be able to live in Yada other than maybe as renters, which is what we are right now. We are literally renting this mansion. Mansion is simply a fancy word that means in Japanese a concrete apartment. Excuse the mess of the room. Literally, this is our Japanese washitsu, our Japanese room, and it's a mess because basically the dog, he likes to sleep on that, and he that blanket, and this is my little table right here. It's kind of a mess. We're living here like squatters right now. We don't have anything. We're sitting on the floor. We have a sofa in the other room, but that's how it is. Anyway, back to the story. The realtor called up and told Yumiko, or sent her a message. He said, hey, I've got a property in your neighborhood that you might be interested in. Now, the first thought would go through our mind with something like that is, yeah, it's going to be way out of our price range. Yeah, it's going to be, impossible, right? We do have a budget for our house. Turned out it wasn't. Turned out it's everything that we were looking for, especially in hindsight with the Machiya, where probably if this house had come into our scope 2 months prior, we wouldn't have gone for it because it was too new. It was not interesting enough. It's a new house. It's not an old, beautiful old house. But after our experience with the Machiya, after we paid, money to have the inspection done, and that money taught us what the impact of buying an old house really meant, we realized that we didn't want to go down that route. So suddenly, a house built in the saga continues, Take. So So this house that we looked at was built in 1983, so 2 years after the new earthquake codes, which means that it's not sitting on rocks. It's not wood sitting on rocks. It's got a beautiful foundation all the way around the side and enhanced structural integrity that it makes it more earthquake prone. And it's just a better, it's just a better house to survive, weather the elements, the typhoons. We were talking to a woman that has a komika the other day, and she was saying every time a typhoon comes through, the whole house shakes and the roof falls to pieces and falls on the ground. They have to go and sweep it up, right? We don't have to deal with any of that. So here's the thing. We went and looked at it, and it's a little bit, there's nothing, it doesn't jump out. It's not a charming house necessarily. It's just a house, right? It's like any old Japanese house. But it hit the marks on all the things. One, it has no neighbors on 3 sides. It's farmland on 3 sides and just one neighbor on one side. So good kind of privacy, right? 2, it's location. It's literally a 5-minute walk to my wife's father's house where her sister lives as well. Check number 2, right? So it's good. Check. I like that. You got your check. And then the third check was that it's within our budget. It's on the upper end of our budget. But remember that with that, we get the house and it's done. We don't have to worry about earthquake retrofit or anything like that. Because the thing is, the other house that we wanted to guide, the old house, would have been well within our budget, but then we would have had to spend over our budget just to make it a safe place to live. So this place, it's right. I mean, it's gonna take our budget to do this place, but it's almost move-in ready. We'll just have to clean it up. It's in our strike location, and I want to focus on that. Over the last 2 years, it's so good that we did our due diligence over the last 2 years, because we started our search looking in places like the Izu Peninsula on the other side of the Suruga Bay, which would have been a ferry ride away from the family. Is the house built in a place where there was an older house? No, it was farmland before it was house there. So here's the thing. So we started our search our perimeter's out. And as we did the 2-year search, our perimeter got smaller and smaller and smaller until we finally realized that our very optimal living situation would be within a 5-minute drive, or even better, a short walk of Yumiko's father's house, for 2 reasons. One, Dad, he's approaching his 90s. He really needs a lot of help. And 2, the sister, Yoko, my wife's sister, who we're very close with. And while I was in America and Yumiko was here, Yumiko and Yoko were able to, every day they go walking the dogs in the evening together, and it was a beautiful routine that they have, and we don't want to break that up. We realize that this family bond is more important to us than having a beautiful old home or farmland or even whatever. So we saw the house. It needs a little work. It's not necessarily attractive, but it hits all the marks, right? It's convenient, it's safe, and it's within our budget. We went back to our place. We went for a walk, and Yumiko and I were sitting around and we were looking at each other and thinking, first thought was, let's think about it overnight. Let's sleep on it. But we knew there was another buyer, and we knew that buyer was interested. Now, we then had a moment of truth, as has happened many times in our lives together. We look at each other and we say, we know what we're going to do. It's like what we did when we came back to America. When we came to Japan from America in 2003, it was after a lot of deliberation, we finally realized that's what we want to do, and we just made the decision together. And sitting right in the other room there, we were looking there, we said, we're not going to sleep on this. We're making the offer now. And we're making a full price offer, no contingency. We're just going for it. This is the one. This meets all of our needs. So Yumiko texted the realtor who sent over the form. We filled out the form, sent it back. The offer was submitted within an hour. It was accepted by the seller, who then offered us a generous price deduction if we would be willing to accept the furniture that was in there, which is great for us because we don't have anything. Look. We don't have any furniture. All we got is a messy blanket and a little table, and I don't even have anything to sit on the ground with. We just got suitcases. Okay, I've got my Sonos speakers. I brought them over from America. Those are nice. Oh, that's going to be nice. We have the Sonos because we have no neighbors on one side. So in the one room on the farm side, we can have the speakers set up and listen to music and not worry about bothering anybody. More on that in a second. So we did, within 2 hours, we had made the decision. It was done. accepted by the realtor, and guess what? Within an hour of our offer being accepted, that other person came through with an above asking price, or at least they expressed an interest in above asking price. They realized that we had beat them to it, and they said, well, how about if we go higher? And the realtor said, nope, sorry, this deal is closed, and Kurt and Yumiko got the place. So that's it. So where we are now, where are we now? We have, we're going to make a deposit. I've already moved the money from America over here. It's in our bank account now for the deposit. That's one of the things that was also did. I worked really hard as beforehand to figure out the process by which bringing money across, right, in a cost-friendly way, right, without too many fees. That was the first time to try that method from Japan. I had sent money to buy the car and money to sustain my wife while she's here from America, but it was like suddenly I was going to do that from here. I was hoping no IP issues, right? It was like, oh, you're in Japan, you can't use our bank account apps anymore. It all worked just fine. So we brought the money over yesterday, so for the down payment. So that's sitting in the bank account right now. Then we're going to sign the paperwork, and then we'll execute the actual purchase in January. So it's just a full price sale. So we're just buying it outright, and then we'll have the keys, and the place will be paid for, and it'll be ours by the end of January. We can move in probably in February. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep this place, this apartment, this 5th floor apartment, through February. I think Rudy was the good luck charm that got you over the line. Yeah, Rudy's definitely a good luck boy. Yeah. So we're going to keep this place. So what we'll need to do, the plan is that after we get the keys, we'll then, Yumiko and I are going to go to Workman, which is like a place you can buy clothing for, the working guy, the working man, right? And we're going to get, you guys are going to laugh, matching his and hers like coveralls or something like that, so we can match. And we're going to just go at it, because we're retired now, so we've got nothing but time. And our job is going to be to clean the whole place up and get it all beautiful and nice. And I mean, not beautiful and nice, get it live-in ready. We think we're going to need to do a couple of things. The bathtub probably needs some help. If we can't take care of it outright, we'll probably then need to replace it. We'll see how that goes. But the kitchen looks nice. The rest of the room looks nice. The rest of the house looks nice. I think we'll be in good shape with that. So that's what happened with all of that, which led us to where we are right now. So with regard to being able to settle down into it, settle down our lives, probably not for another 2 or 3 months maybe that we'll find a settled in routine. So yeah. But back to what I was doing before. I turned this on. I wanted to show you guys the important tool that I bought to add to my hiking path. Will I make a video of you cleaning the house? You bet. Yeah, that's gonna be an important part. That's where we're gonna have the matching coveralls, right? So we can be all matchy match as we do that. I'll set up this camera to record, and we'll do all the cleaning, and et cetera, et cetera. It should be fun. So we went to Montbell today, like I said at the start of this, because I knew that they had what I needed, because this is where I bought it the last time I was there. I bought this bear spray. And so this is important. Bears, I carried this with me as softypapa 1.0, and it gave me a lot of reassurance. I never had to use it, but a lot of reassurance. So if I remember right, it's a son of a gun to open. So I won't try to open it now with all of you because it's such a pain in the butt. And I think I cut myself the last time because it's sharp plastic. So I'm learning them, growing, hopefully maturing a little bit, so I won't make that mistake again. But I do have inside my pack right here. This is a holster. Maybe I should have got the smaller one. No, that'll probably fit. So this will fit in there, and I can hang this from the pack and have this at the ready. Yeah, that should work. There's one more thing I need to buy, and I'll be bear ready, because I have my bear bell and I have my bear spray, and that is garden trowel. Why a garden trowel? What the heck do you need that for? Well, that's because there's a place called Jumbo Incho. It's like a hardware store. Think of it like Home Depot, and they've got a garden center. And I don't want to be carrying around in my pack a big old knife, right? I mean, because the police stop you sometimes, right? And what do they open my pack and I got this big old knife in there? But if I have a garden trowel, that's not such a big deal. And they've got this one that they sell that is, made for this, and it's got a serrated edge along the edge for cutting the roots. Nasty thing. It could be used as a weapon, and it comes with a sheath. So the way I did, and I don't know if I ever mentioned this when I was adventuring in the mountains before, the way I always did this was when I was embarking into the wilderness, once I got to the point that I thought I was bear and boar country, I stopped, I put down the pack, I pulled out the bear spray with the holster, and I buckled that to one side of myself, this side, and then I pulled out my garden trowel / Rambo weapon, and I put it on the other side. And then I unsheathed the bear bell, like this. Hi, Danielle. And then I was ready to go. And then I would go into the forest. So there's 3 layers of defense, right? The bell is alerting the predators or the boars of my presence. And then if something came close, I could whip out the bear spray, give them a spray. This is the theory. I've never had to do this. And if that didn't work, then I'm whipping out the garden trowel and we're going hand to hand. I've never had to do any of that, but the level of assurance that gives me really helps out a lot. The other thing that will really help is the fact that my new iPhone 16 includes satellite emergency service, right? So as long as it can talk to a satellite when there's no connection, you can see a little satellite appear on the upper left here. That means I have satellite reception. I can send out a 911, or here it would be a 119, and send in the troops to rescue me. There's one more thing I wanted to show you, which is how my coffee's set up, right? So I got the gas. I couldn't bring this on the airplane, so I left it there. I knew I could get it at that same place. Here in my pack, I've got this bag. Hey, it matches. Rudy, it matches. I've got this bag that is basically my food bag for when I'm hiking. There's nothing in it now except my coffee gear. And boy, there's nothing better than a good camp coffee. Now, I don't have to be hiking in the mountains. I carry this backpack with me everywhere I go. I can stop at a park here and I can brew myself up a cup of coffee. I've got my coffee cup here. And I've got, this is the thing right here, right? And this thing right here. Together with this, do the thing. Hey Kurt, happy to see you preparing for mountain hikes in Japan again. Thank you, still no guitar. Why still no guitar? Get a guitar. There's got to be a story in your name. Okay, so if I open this up, and this is also the same coffee gear kit that I used during my desert days when I was writing Going Alone. I used this. Speaking of which, you want to see something interesting? This is the original edition of the first copy of Going Alone, the original. So the modern Going Alone is my book, guys, if you aren't familiar. It's the book, it's my life's work, other than my daughter. My daughter's my main legacy as a man of, as a fatherly man. You need a bike to get around town. I'm planning to get one. So this is Going Alone as it was first written, giant Kurt Bell on the bottom of it all. And this is the book as it finished after 3 years of editing. So it took me 3 years to write this and 5 years to edit this. You can see the relative difference in size. So the newer one is more. There's more chapters, more stuff in there, and better flow. I rearranged things. It took me a long time to figure out that this wasn't as readable as it could be. I had some good, valuable feedback from friends that gave me that. But I kept this all along. I said maybe it would be interesting to have this to serve as a comparison against this. So this doesn't go with me anywhere. It just stays here. I'm not one that keeps stuff, but this one goes with me. It stays in my backpack here. And this is the book that I'll be doing live book readings in the future, maybe as soon as next week. I've set it up on my reminder tab here for do a live book reading from here and there and everywhere in Japan. So when I was writing this book, and I bought mine this morning, you did? Hubba boo boo. Sorry, you bought it. Thank you. I really appreciate the support. Thank you. The proceeds will go towards fueling my adventures and getting me out there into the field. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Domo arigatou gozaimasu. So when I was out in the desert writing this book, I needed coffee. And so I got this set up here. And I would sit there under the bridge, the writing bridge at Siberia Ghost Town, and with my little chair that I had stashed under the rafters there. And I would boil up cups of coffee. Let me show you. So you take this out of this. Oh, loud. Take that. See, that's Rudy's little bed right there. He loves to sit there. So that thing gets all thing. Hey, the old Kurt is back. Yes, it is the old Kurt, and old in more ways than one. Although, what do you think of the hair? I got a perm yesterday. Can you imagine that? I got a perm. So I went into Yumiko and I went to our hair salon. It's the family hair salon, a place called Forte. And everybody goes there. Yumiko goes there, sister Yoko goes there, brother Takeshi goes there, his wife Miyoko goes there. I think Emily's gone there too, maybe Rudy even. And now I go there. And we have our stylist there, and he was sitting there, and I was in the chair, and he was doing all this stuff, and I told him, I like it to be poofy, like this. And he's like, how about a perm? And I'm like, how about we do it? So I did. I had a fun time yesterday. You know, his assistant, Miki-chan, was helping me out. She could speak English, and she was washing my hair, and she gave me the massage. I uploaded the shorts yesterday of her massaging me, and she's really good. She's strong. Anyway, I diverged. So old, but old with young man's hair, maybe. Anyway, inside of this thing, this is the boiling thing. I have this that I carry the coffee in, which there are no grounds in there because I didn't want to bring coffee grounds on the plane because it might look suspicious. Customs might like, what is this stuff? No, take him away to detention. So it's just empty. So we've got some coffee grounds over there. But this, you've got two tools. There's these tools here. This is a gripper. See? It grips the side of the thing like that. Da-da-da. And you can handle the thing. And then what this does, a perm, you look about 45 years old. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I feel, well, no. I could say I feel 45, but it's a different thing. I'll make videos about this, I'm sure, but I'm 60 now, and I really do feel it. And I'm grateful for that. It's a good thing. It's more good than anything else. Yorkshire Nase says, hair looks great. You strong bro look. Thank you. I've been working out a lot. You know, I walked over 1,000 miles in the desert when I was living there. I lost all the weight. And I would stop and I would lift stones in the desert. And I would do push-ups, you know, wearing nothing but just a shorts and my hiking boots. And I was lather up with all the suntan lotion. And I would go out and I really think I got in good shape. And I want to maintain that and build upon that now. As soon as good day over 59, running with that one. And as soon as I get a chance to, I'm going to be dipping myself in the water, maintaining, remember those ocean swims? I'm going to get back to doing that too. Anyway, this comes off somehow. Oh, easy. And then this, I won't do it because it'll make this place stink up. You screw that on, you guys have seen this before. We screw that on there like that. And then you do like that. And then inside of here, I have a watery container. This is for my coffee water. And you see that? It's got a chimney on it, just like we bought. Yumiko bought us the coolest 4-wheel drive. I don't know where she pulled that left field out of. One of her jobs was to come to Japan and get us all set up. And her job was to find us a car. And I thought we were going to get like a little Daihatsu or something like that. And one day she's like, how about a 4-wheel drive Jimny? And I'm like, who are you and what did you do with my wife? Of course, a 4-wheel drive. So she bought us a Jimny. Beautiful. It's this like army green or whatever. I'm probably saying it wrong. And it's 4-wheel drive. It's a K version, so it's a smaller CC. Is the house we bought closer to the ocean? I'll answer that in just a second. And we've been out driving it around. And one of the things I'm challenged with is I'm struggling to drive in Japan. So I keep driving on the wrong side of the road and doing all kinds of things and scaring my wife. But I'm getting there a little better every day. At least I think so. Back to this coffee thing. So what you do is you pour the coffee in. You put just like this. You turn it on. It goes. I need a lighter. I'll go down and buy one later. And then you can boil coffee. Now I could do this at the park, right? I can go down in the morning, sit at the park, boil myself a cup of coffee, pour the coffee right in here, sit there and sip it. Oh, you need this. You're thinking, how do you get the grounds? How do you get the coffee out of the grounds? I've got this thing right here, see? And it goes on the cup like this. Eventually you'll be driving instructor for foreigners in Japan. I guess I could be, huh? Although I don't feel like I'm really a driving instructor anymore. It's all the mistakes I'm making now. See how that goes in there? And so you take the grounds from here, put them in here, and then you boil it up, and you pour it in, and it makes a nice cup of coffee. And then you keep the grounds, and what I do is I take that out, pop this off, and put it in here like that. It sits on the top, and you can have a second cup. It's very nice. So I'll be doing that very shortly. Imagine if you drove a monster truck in Tokyo, my Japanese girlfriend, LOB. What does LOB mean? I'm a boomer, I don't know these things. So back to the question about the ocean. So here in Shizuoka, picture it like this. Okay, like this. Shizuoka City proper. It's greater Shizuoka City. The ocean is here, okay? Here between Shizuoka City and the ocean is a big, well, not big, it's a pretty big mountain called the Nihon Daira. And it extends there. So we, as the crow flies, to get to the beach, let's use miles. I would say we're less than probably 2 miles, less than 3 miles, as the crow flies to get to the ocean right here. But we can't do that because there's a mountain in the way. So you have to go around the mountain. And we're pretty much equal right in the middle. So it'd be about the same amount of time either way. And I'm going to say that's 20-minute drive. An hour on a bicycle, maybe an hour and 15, hour and 10 on that. But here's the other thing. Once you get to the beach there, it's not really a swimming beach. It's called I don't know what it's called. But it's not really a swimming beach. The local mystique here is that's a beach you go in the water and you die. Now, I don't think that's necessarily true. If you know the author Lafcadio Hearn, he wrote about swimming in those waters at night, no less. So it can be done. Maybe it's just up to the foreigners to do it. But if you go over, remember, here's the map. If you go over here to the tip of the Miho Peninsula, then it kind of wraps around the corner into Shimizu Bay. And I've swam there. I've got a video with Emily where Emily was taking the picture. And she's like, there goes Papa into the water. And I run. It's the first video of me running into the ocean. I run down and I dive into the water. And she's like, I come out of the water. She's like, are you okay? It's so cute. But I could go swim there. The other question is, the other beach that's a swimming beach is the one at Mochimune, which is the other way, almost equidistant both ways to get to it. Remember the map? Probably about a 25-minute drive to either one of those places. Sorry, phone messed up. I can't wait for you to upload hiking videos again. Thank you. They should be coming pretty soon now that I have nearly all the gear that I need to do it. So guys, that's pretty much what I wanted to show you. I've got my bear spray. Did I miss any questions about the house? There was the question. I saw one question asking what we paid for the house. I prefer to keep that kind of information to myself. So we got the house. Well, we made the offer. It's been accepted. We got the down payment ready to go. The money to buy the house is sitting in America. I just got to bring it over, and then we'll own the house. And then we're probably going to redo the bathroom, which we can do that. There's still enough budget left to redo the bathroom. The kitchen looks good. Oh, the land. I forgot to say, one of the greatest things about this house is that, like I said, it's on 3 sides. It's farmland. Directly in the backyard. And we do have a small yard in this place, but it's very small. But functional. We could put a fence around that. We think we're going to do that. Put a fence around the yard, the proper house part, and so the dogs can go outside. And good news is that it's just farm on either side, so there's nobody to bark at. But immediately behind the house, there is a big piece of farmland that's been basically vacant since like 10 years before, or at least the last time it was registered with the city was 10 years before roughly 10 years before Yumiko and I were even born. So whoever owns it is probably long gone. Who knows who actually owns it? And it hasn't been used, and it's not likely to be ever used to build a house because there's no easy road access to that piece of property. I mean, it's still in this, Roppongi Hills beautiful designation zone, but it's in such a spot that it would be really difficult to build a house there. The only use for it is to be a wild piece of land, which it is right now, or to be put to use by a neighbor that might endeavor to do that. Us. So the realtor may help us to try to locate the owner, and if that fails, maybe even Yumiko's family, who, of course, like I said before, they're longtime residents of this area, they might be able to help us to do that. And if we can find the owner, we'll try to buy the place, try to buy the land if it's reasonably priced, and barring that, we could rent it. The one challenge is that it's probably agricultural designation, which means that we'd have to be a farmer to own it. We're not farmers, although Yumiko's uncle is like the boss. He's kind of old now, but he used to be like the head man in the village. He's a farmer. Maybe he could fast track us in, maybe lubricate a few things, and they're farmers. Yeah, they've been make us into farmers, because that's all it takes. Is you have to have a business plan. You have the local association of farmers have to agree to let you in. And why would they say no? I mean, there's no farmers anymore. The land's going dry. I mean, we wouldn't probably use it as a proper farmer. We could set it up as one of those roadside farms. That might be interesting. But if we get that land or rent that land, buy or rent, then we would be in an incredible situation. We would have a really nice, not newer, but not old house, good earthquake standards, in Yada, in this community, with backing onto an enormous piece of farmland that we could repurpose into a garden. It's got beautiful mature trees in there. We'd have to slice out all the bamboo. I know that's tough to get rid of. And then we could lay down the gardens and etc. And then on the remaining two sides, it would still be farmland on both of those sides. So it kind of seems like pinching ourselves. I can't believe we got this lucky. It's all thanks to my wife's due diligence and her hard efforts to cultivate relationships with the realtors in the area and help us to make this happen. Well, with that, that's pretty much all I wanted to say, unless anyone else has any other questions. I'll sign off for now. I think it's getting to be closing on dinner time. You can see that the sun is starting to go down. And then soon after that, we'll have our dinner, and then it'll be time to go for a walk with the dogs. If the owner of the farmland is deceased, do their living children and grandchildren own it? Well, that's an interesting question. So there's inheritance laws in Japan, just like anywhere else. And there's property tax, right? So, the heirs would inherit it, but there's taxes. Now, I don't know about farmland. I'm not particular about that, but usually if it's just a standard house and then the owner dies, the heirs can inherit it, but they have to pay a pretty significant inheritance tax, and sometimes they don't want to do that. So they'll give up the house, and there's a way to formally do that, to say, I don't want this place, you take it, government, and the government can take it and then sell it at auction or something like that. The thing is, the last time this house was registered was in the Showa 20s, which was in the 1950s. No other registered owner since then. That means that there's some Tetsuya Inoue somewhere, I don't know. The original guy that has name on it, that probably would have been in the 50s, probably would have been in his 30s, right? So what is he, 110 years old now? Something like that, 100 years old right now? He's probably not even around, right? What that means is, since it wasn't registered again, that means that it was never accepted as an inheritance by somebody else. Because if the children had inherited it, it would have been formally registered at the city with the new person's name. And that probably would have happened in the 80s or the 90s or something like that. Since it hasn't happened, there are two things possible. One, Tatsuya Inoue, whoever this is is still alive and paying taxes on the place, even though they're not using the land. It's entirely feasible. There's plenty of, 100-plus-year-old people running around this community that they may still own the land. The other possibility is that they've died and nothing ever happened. I don't see how that could happen. You'd think that something would happen at the city. No one would pay the taxes. The city would, encumber the land and eventually take it over. And I don't know what would happen to the registration at that point. But we're going to get to the bottom of it. One thing that we've got is we've got a really, really good realtor. He's like a detective. And we're going to give him a nice bonus at the end of all of this because, he's going to get his realtor's commission, but he works for a big company. But he's been so great. So Yumiko and I are going to give him a nice tidy sum just as a thank you for everything he's done for us. So maybe we can, because he's like a detective helping us to find places. Maybe he can help us use his detective skills to find who owns this. So change of registration is a taxable event, hugely taxable, at least for property, right? I mean, big taxes. At least that's what I've heard. So sometimes the young people don't want to pay that taxes or can't afford it, so they'll just give it up. In which case it goes to the city. So yeah, it's a taxable event. At least that's what I've learned in my several years now of due diligence, which I believe is correct. Ooh, I'm doing this in the wrong place. Any other questions before I fade away into the dark? Hi, Mama. You want? Oh, hold on, Mama. Hold on. It's dark in here. Let me turn the light on. Do you need me, Mama?
Like this.
Ah, she's gonna feed the dogs. Did I miss a question? I don't know how to see the comments once they're. Oh, there they go. Top chat. Live chat. What did I miss? So you're a nice customer for realtors. Well, this guy really did us well. I mean, get this. When we first started our process, we were looking at a particular house that we wanted, and we couldn't find the owner. We knew the owner lived in Tokyo, but we couldn't find the owner to find out, because we wanted to buy it. It's empty, but it's not available for sale. So we thought, well, maybe we can just find the owner and, buy it. That guy went up, this realtor of ours, went up to that, it's a village. And he went up to that village 3 times on his own, walking around the village, talking to the locals to try to find the owner for us. And we were successful. And he was able to contact the owner and find out that, yeah, the owner's living in Tokyo. The house is Akiya. It's empty right now, but the owner plans to retire in a couple of years and come back and live in that beautiful farmhouse. So not available for us. Who does that? Right? I mean, he didn't get a dime of or a yen of compensation for that. So yeah, no, we're gonna treat him well when we're done and make sure that his strong efforts, and he's shown us like 4 properties, and he's been very patient with us, going back and looking at them and going through the inspection. When we wanted the inspection, he helped us find an inspector. When we wanted an architect, he helped us find the architect and arrange the meeting. This guy's great. So yeah, we're with him. So he's been with us. Well, if there are no other questions, I'm going to wrap up. Oh, look at him. Somebody's tired. Yeah, fierce little Chihuahua Pomeranian boy. So this has been fun, guys. Chatting and kind of catching up. Look for lots of these to come up in the future. I plan to... Retirement it's only been a week in Japan that I've been retired, but it's been like, let's see, it was December 6th or something like that. So it's been a couple of weeks now that I've been retired outright. And it's been a very interesting experience. I'm losing track of time. I'm losing track of days. Calendar really doesn't mean anything anymore. Now that I'm with my wife, it really grounds me because we're together and doing things all the time. And that's really nice. Looking forward to your upcoming videos. Have a nice evening. Thank you, Martina. Thank you, Habu Baba. I'm going to wish you all the best. I'll be doing more of these in the future. Remember, in the meantime, be safe, but not too safe. Take care.